Hi, everybody. I'm starting season 3 because I am arriving in Atlanta. I hope you watched my last two, season 1 in New Jersey, season 2 in California. I have to mention this one thing that I forgot because our pets are our family, and my dear sweet Layla dog, who we got when a puppy in New Jersey, she died. She was I think she was 11 when she passed. Poor thing. She just kept going right up to the end, and then she turned gray, and she laid down one day next to her bowl and just went to sleep. Um, Sweet Layla, really good dog. German Shepherd, maybe a mix, not sure, but sweet dog. Um, Looked like a big coyote. Told that story too. I hope you watched my past seasons. So, we got another dog. We heard about a dog in Mexico. Somebody had to get rid of their dog. It was a pedigree Rottweiler, Rocky Balboa of Warrior Kennels. And Rocky was 7 months old. Now, Rocky was a big boy. He was big, strong, and he was not ever taught anything, and he did not even know his name. Never ever answered to his name. Uh, I don't know if he was dumb or just plain stubborn, but I know that when I walked down that dirt road, the neighbors all laughed at us because I would walk on the leash with him and they would say, "Here comes Rocky walking Susie," because he just pulled me down the road. Now, Layla walked very well because, I mean, I taught Layla, everything, and she was a good dog. She knew how to walk on a leash and, she was trained and all that, but Rocky was never taught a thing. But when we moved from the nice house to the crummy house in where we were in the back country of San Diego County, um, Rocky was a very good protector when I was living there alone after my husband left me. That was something very natural to the breed. Rocky just uh, lived in the doghouse outdoors, but anybody came to visit, boy, Rocky was right in front of me. Would not let anybody come near me, touch me. Rocky was right in front of me and never had to teach him that. Most visitors were scared to get out of their car because of him. And that was okay. It was a good thing. So if you want a really good protector dog, get a Rottweiler. But if you want a dog to obey you, maybe not the best one. But my friend Ward, who was my ex-husband's good friend also, um, he was the one who was the burly biker dude with the big beard, ex-cocaine addict. He would come over to play with Rocky. He would come over and he'd say, "I just want to play with Rocky," and they would wrestle and tumble around in the dirt in the yard, and that was cool. That was fun. Anyway, good protector dog. So I had to insert that. I'm sorry. So getting back to my story, I was telling you about our trip to Atlanta, and when we got to Atlanta, it was like 10:30 at night. We could have stayed in Alabama or West Georgia, but we all wanted to get to Atlanta that night, so we got there. It was 10:30 because I went around the darn perimeter. It was the third time around the perimeter when I finally stopped at the motel that I had it all planned out with AAA. Using the triptych, it's kind of like a GPS where you flip the pages so you're only seeing the part of the map that you're right on. You don't see the whole map. So I was right on the 285 perimeter around Atlanta, but I did not know that the perimeter, I didn't know it was called the perimeter, of course, until you live there. You don't know that. I didn't know it was a circle around the city. So I was there. Second time around, I started seeing things that I recognized and said, we've been here before. We're still on 285. How could we be lost? I don't, I wasn't understanding. Third time around, I knew I had been there before, absolutely twice. And we went to the motel, and Lauren, sweet little Lauren, we had been to Wendy's and picked up food, but we were going to wait till we got in the motel to eat. And when we got out of the car, she dropped her stuffed baked potato in the parking lot, poor baby, and she cried. She was so hungry and looking forward to that. I felt so bad. I remember we all shared with her, but we were all so tired. We didn't want to go anyplace else. Anyway, I had my apartment picked out. Next morning we went. Signature Ridge on Roswell Road. It was a good central location. It was only $400 a month. Now we were paying $250 in that really crummy place that we had in San Diego backcountry, and this place was so nice. Oh my goodness, we couldn't even. It just blew our minds because it was so nice. Everything was new and clean, and we had a dishwasher and a garbage disposal, which I never ever saw before in my life. And we had a swimming pool and we had air conditioning, which I never had before in my life. It was just like, oh my goodness, we're like close to heaven here. And so we did enjoy that. Of course, the kids were going through a lot. We were all going through a lot, but this was good. It was looking good. And I got to tell you a funny little story. When we were living in San Diego County, my boys, well, all my kids, they're in the public school there, and my one little boy came home one day and said to me, "Mom, when you were a kid, did you know any black kids? Did you have any black friends?" That's what he said. And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Why do you ask that?" He said, "Because it's not fair. We don't know any." And that hit me. It's like I never even thought about that before, but they're right. There's like no black people around here at all. They're only with these people who have moved away from the city for whatever their reasons were. But anyway, they were all white. There was two kids in that whole school that were half black. Two girls that were half, and that was it. So anyway, it's funny because here we are moving to Atlanta, where the population is mostly black, and so at the swimming pool, the kids all had so much fun. Lauren's first friend lived upstairs, same age as her, and she was black. And the boys' first friend they made, first day of school, came home from school with this little boy, and he was black. And I made good friends with his mother. She was single, and she was living with a sister. They were from Jamaica. Made good friends with them. And when my boys were, one thing I got to tell you was so cool that they had 3 diving boards at this pool, and they would dive in sync. My twins would dive in sync and do somersaults and go into the pool. It was so cool. I wish I had a video of that. And it was all good. Now, also I want to mention that Lauren had braces when we left San Diego. So that was a little slight complication that I had to, you know, find a new orthodontist for her and all that. And soon after we were there and went to the orthodontist, it was maybe the second time going to the orthodontist, that we were in the line just to check in with the receptionist, and she was in a really, really bad, nasty mood. She was 12 years old. I mean, the hormones kick in, that's the rebellious time, it's normal. Anyway, she mouthed off at me in the line. There was a lot of people there in the waiting room and people in line and everything. She mouthed off at me, very disrespectful, which was so out of character for her. She never did that to me before. And for her to act like that the first time and in public with the audience and everything, it really, really pissed me off. Anyway, after that, I waited till she was done with her appointment. We got in the car, and I said, you know, the way you disrespected me and the way you talk back to me, I'm not going to put up with that. That is not right. I'm your mother and I'm only trying to do the best for you, whatever I said, I don't know. Anyway, I smacked her across the mouth. It was one and only time that I ever recall smacking her. And I know because I had braces. I know that after you go to the orthodontist, your whole mouth and jaw is very sore because they tighten them up. It's extremely painful. And I smacked her, and I think her lip bled a little bit because of the braces and everything. I felt really bad, and I think she started to hate me because of that. But she did kind of deserve it. I mean, it's up to you. Make the call, Was it right or wrong? I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, that I gotta go to this because we're on the subject now. Okay. When my kids were little, my husband and I made this agreement, right? Because I was reading all these parenting books and stuff and listening to the talk things on the radio and things. Anyway, that's where I got my information from. But we made an agreement that we would only never hit the kids with our hands. That we had this oak stick, and it was like a foot long, and it was a thin little, it wasn't thick or anything. And we said, okay, this is our punishment, and we will hit them when it's absolutely necessary to teach them something, and we will never hit them more than 3 times, because more than 3 times would be out of anger. 3 times is discipline. 3 times is just in case if the 1 or 2 didn't get a good whack in. So that's what we stuck to, and every one of our kids were only hit once or twice ever, and it was never more than 3 times. Well, they were too old for that oak stick stuff, So that was the first time that I ever recall slapping any of them, and right in the mouth. I did feel bad about it, but I did feel like she deserved it, and because I wasn't gonna take her talking back to me like that and being disrespectful. And especially, and I guess this is my pride, this is not good, but in front of an audience, I felt like it was even worse, you know? Maybe you know, maybe you don't. I don't know. Anyway, that was a little insert there I had to throw in to my story, my true story here. So, I gotta say, so the lady that I was friends with who was Chris, the little boy, the little black boy. They lived in my apartments, his aunt. I started going out with her a little bit, a couple times. We only went out for two hours or something. A couple times. She was maybe a little younger than me, very attractive, long, I mean, she black girl, long natural hair, tiny little, probably size 0, right? I'm like a size 4. I was very small and thin also, but she was a lot smaller and thinner than me. Anyway, we went out with her. I went out with her a few times, just get something to eat, or I don't know where we went. I mean, even I remember going to the grocery store with her, just went around about with her a few times, and it was really interesting how all the guys hit on her. All the white guys hit on her. Nobody hit on me. All the white guys were hitting on her. Very interesting. She had a white boyfriend also. And there was another lady, black lady, that I made friends with who lived in our apartments. And she had two little boys that played with my little boys. They were a little younger, but they played together. Nice, good boys. And she was a black lady, and she had a white husband. She told me, because I got friendly with her, I went over her house a few times, and she told me that she only dated white, always only dated white. I'm not sure why, but that was her preference. But anyway, her husband, her former husband, who was father of these boys, actually, she was cheating on him, she told me, and she was in the shower one day, and she even said she deserved it because she was cheating. He stabbed her 27 times. She managed to get out and out of her house, apartment, whatever, wherever she lived, and got help. And anyway, she survived. She showed me. She pulled her shirt all the way up and showed me. I saw the stab wounds, scars all over her whole chest, stomach, torso. Um, wow. That's all I got to say about that one. So, there was also another lady there who I got friends with. Oh, I don't know. I'll talk about that one later. I gotta tell you, I got a job right away, like I expected to, because there's so much opportunity in Atlanta. And I got a job right away at this place called Lasertronics. Back then, it was I don't know if they still do this or not, but it was recycling printer cartridges, and they would go pick them up, clean them, refill them, and redeliver them. And the way I got the job was pretty cool because I was just going to Kinko's to do my resume, to pass it out. And I was in the line at Kinko's for the copier, and there was this guy behind me, and he said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I see it looks like you have your resume in hand." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, my office is right across the street, and I'm looking for an assistant." And he said, "Would you like to come for an interview? We could do it right now." So I said, "Yeah." And I went, and I got hired. And I was doing do, doing his bookkeeping on QuickBooks, and my friend Tim, who I told you about in previous episodes, yeah, I was seeing him. He was coming around, checking on me and seeing me every so often. And he actually got hired there also. Like, I guess it was marketing, must have been, I suppose. Anyway, so there we are working together, right? This is my guy I was in love with senior year of high school, and now here we are, almost 40 years old, working together. How crazy is that? That's why I'm doing these videos, because I've had an unusual life. Okay, so um, the boss there, he had a son who was mentally handicapped, and I don't know how else to say this, but he was a teenager, but late teens, I assume. He was at least 15. I mean, he looked like late teens. Big, husky guy. And I don't know how else to say this, but he walked around with a heart on all the time. And it was pretty freaky. It was very obvious. But there was about 5 people in the office most of the time. This one time I was alone with him in the office and nothing happened, but I got to tell you, I was so scared and freaked out after that. I had to look for another job because I did not want to ever be alone with him in the office again. And so that job didn't last long. And let's see, I guess it's about time to shut it down now. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're enjoying, and I hope you come back, and I wish you would subscribe. Thank you. Love you. God bless.